Hey everybody, welcome to Love and Relo, the voice of the relocation industry. I am your host, Ben Cross, and I'm so blessed and honored to be coming to you live from St. Louis. We just wrapped up the Midwest Relocation Conference. I'm here with my good friends, Brenda Thoney Johnson from Cardis and Emerson Ross from Walmart, and aka Smith Creek. Anyway, we're just having a good time here on kind of day 3-ish, 2.5 here at the conference. How are y'all feeling?
Great. Go ahead, Brenda.
We're tired. If
We're
we're going to
tired.
be honest, we're a little tired.
We're a little tired, but it was a lot of fun, a lot of content, great people, of course.
And if you have not been to a Midwest Relocation Conference, next year, Milwaukee, I believe.
Ooh, Cream City, Milwaukee.
Absolutely. And we will be there. So hoping to see some more people. It was a great turnout. Over 200 people attended.
Yeah, 220 or so, I think I heard. I mean, really great event. I actually really liked the venue too. The Ameristar Hotel Casino was actually really nice. The rooms are fantastic. There's lots of stuff to do.
Huge room, sunken living room, a lounge area. It was great.
It was nice. Really good. And Emerson, you really contributed a lot from a content perspective. We should have called this Emercon.
Well, and you had to include Ben in there somewhere because it was really great content. I'm telling you, from a corporate standpoint, corporate member, we had over 32 corporate members, I think, in our round tables.
Nice.
A fabulous conference. Can't say much more about it.
Yeah, hit that like button. Get in the comments. I want to see you there. We got Vinny Valverde checking in. Hi, guys. Miss you all. What's up, Vinny?
Hey, Vinny. What's up, Vinny?
Vinny.
Everybody loves Vinny. People are just kind of streaming out here. This is really cool, kind of in the afterglow. Let me ask you, when you're thinking back on the last couple of days, what's one thing maybe you learned or took away from being here?
You go first.
Okay, one thing I took away is the love of relo. No pun intended, but the relocation industry and how the partnerships, it truly friendships, relationships, always I take that away. But with seeing everyone and meeting everyone, like people are saying bye to us now, it's like a family reunion at every conference. So.
Yeah, it is. We got Christy Lund checking in saying, Brenda!
Whoop, whoop, my girl, Christy. Love it.
She gave you a woot. She gave you a woot woot.
I love it. And, I think what I am taking away is we are so lucky to be in an industry and to work with people who truly care. I can't even believe the number of conversations that I heard about, yes, it might be their duty of care, but they really, truly do care as human beings, as people. And that was the thing that just resonated over and over again. You had mobility leaders here. You had supply chain partners here that really are trying to figure out the best way to get things done, to have the most incredible employee experience, and to also have a great experience for the mobility teams. I just really blown away by it, the care and the level of care.
Yeah, I think it attracts a certain type of person and retains a certain type of person that cares deeply about these employees' journey and the families.
Mm-hmm.
I think when you're working with associates or people, when you work with people in the industry that you truly like and enjoy, that's an added, that's cherry on the top.
Hey, and shout out to the team, by the way, getting us the red chairs today. The red chairs. I had a moment yesterday when I saw those brown chairs up there. I'm like, my butt is not squeezing in that chair. We're gonna have an emergency here. And they're like, well, I don't know if we got any wider ones. The one guy's like, I think the red ones are wider. Praise God. Thank you for those people making it happen.
I'm gonna shout out to this man right here. He was on my panel. And let me tell you, there's a lot of individuals in this community, in our Relo family, that are looking for new options right now. They've been unemployed, laid off, whatever it may be, or maybe they're just looking for a change. The information that Ben shared about best practices, how to market yourself, how to get the information out there, things to avoid, unbelievable. So I'm going to plug him right now, because if you're in that category of people that I just talked about, I took away little tidbits of things that I know I've probably done wrong in the past. So I'll always carry those with me. So thank you.
I'm going to put you on the spot and ask you, what was like one thing that stuck out to you? Was there a tip, a trick, a do, a don't?
Well, yeah, you go first.
For me, because I got to run and catch a plane. But for me, the LinkedIn.
Okay. And what about it? What about LinkedIn, though?
How important to use LinkedIn, social media, and not always depend on the
Well, you have such a good reputation. It's easy to think, well, everybody knows me. Everybody knows what I'm capable of. But as soon as you apply for a job or as soon as you just meet somebody, they're going to Google you. And the first thing that's going to come up about you is your LinkedIn profile. And they're going to look, okay, what does this guy post? What is he talking about? What's she into? Give me a flavor, you know?
It was simple tidbits that you could take and learn from it, because it wasn't all big words and all fancy words.
Oh, yeah,
it was
I don't even know.
relatable. So I think that was a big thing. And I do have to say bye because I got to catch a car.
I got to catch a car.
Okay.
We love you, Emerson. Thanks so much.
Okay.
Appreciate you. Have fun out there.
And I just want to back that up because I think probably
shout out to Jill.
The thing that was amazing to me, that a lot of people, and this was, I know, Ben, you were nervous about talking about.
Yeah, I'm always nervous. Can you believe that?
No, but he was nervous about saying this one thing because he knew there were probably people in the room that were
sporting the halo.
So, the new trend of putting the available to work or open to work, etc., may not actually be your best bet. And what I didn't even think about was, I love how you coined it. You said you're automatically basically telling the world that you're, what is it? That you're available for less, and you're probably going to take a haircut.
You're take a pay cut. Yeah, for sure. And we're talking about the open to work green halo on LinkedIn. You see it everywhere. And honestly, what will happen is a change will happen. You get laid off, and instantly you're like, well, I got to get after it. Boom, I want to put this green halo on. And there's 3 things you got to do before you do that. The first is you should reach out to an industry recruiter that specializes in it, because they're going to get you to the top of the stack for the jobs. The 70% of jobs that are not posted, they know about them. The second thing you got to do is reach out to the people in this room right here, your colleagues, your trusted confidants, and work those networks. And the third thing you do is you apply to the jobs that are out there. And the reason you apply before putting the green halo open to work is because when you're unemployed, you tend to get about 20% less salary. I know personally, I was unemployed for a few months. I took a 35% pay cut for the next job. And it took me 2.5 years to get back to where I was at before, and it is what it is. So don't put that out there, because you will devalue yourself, I believe.
And again, the other thing that you shared was, and you didn't say it like this, I've heard it said that the best time to look for a job is when you have a job. But what you said something along the lines of, make sure you continue to always attend events and to network, because you're going to get your next job from your network more than likely, not from Indeed, not from one of these. So it was just a really interesting take on the importance of networking, staying involved, digging into your industry. That was really eye-opening for me.
Yeah, we did a show of hands thing, right? And we're like, how many of you applied to a job on the internet randomly, whatever? A few people. And Amanda on our panel was like, that's what I did, and I got a job. Awesome. A few people did, a couple dozen. But the overwhelming majority, I said, how many of you either knew a person at the company or the job wasn't posted yet, or a recruiter reached out? Overwhelming majority of hands went up, which supported the 70% of jobs aren't posted thing. And a lot of the really good ones, because do you think they're just going to post a CEO position?
Right.
No. Do you think your boss's job is going to get posted? Because then everybody in the company would be like, oh, I want that job, and then they have to tell everybody no. So a lot of these things are happening through back channels, and it's important that you're in the room where it happens. And too often people say, it's inconvenient to go to the meeting today, or I got something else on my calendar or whatever, right? And they don't realize you need to be laying that groundwork and building your brand, building your network. Your network is your net worth, and building that, because you don't know when you're going to need that.
I say this all the time, and I'm pretty lucky because my name starts with a B. I talk about the Brenda brand all the time. Not only do I represent myself, who I am, my values, my integrity, but also my company. And I have to have that out there. Now, again, I am very happy. I am so pleased to be where I'm at. But it was just really great advice that you gave today. It was meaningful. And I think there's a lot of people that are looking to maybe make a change at some point down the road. And I think you just offered some really great pieces of tangible advice for them.
Yeah, well, thank you very much. And I appreciate you having me on that panel. Look at this. Brian says, look at those 2 extra special people. Love Brian Rivers here. This is great. Get in the comments. What do you think about networking? What do you think the value is? How did you get your current job? Did you apply online, or did you know somebody? I want to know what you think. We have Francine dressing
This
on.
is just
Hey,
too
love
fun.
you, Francine.
I mean, literally, we're sitting outside
Yeah.
as people are leaving, and we're getting waves. We're getting people trying to make us laugh. I mean, it's been just a ton of fun. But,
and look at Tessa Boone. Hello, Brenda. I love your
oh,
brand.
Tessa.
How does that
I
make
think
you
she
feel?
was planted. She had to be planted. Well, first of all, I don't think I've ever met a more genuine person in our
Tessa.
industry
Sweet
than Tessa. Yeah, Tessa, you made my day. Thank you.
Tessa, thank you for supporting people, Tessa. Honestly, and a little comment like that, taking just a second to leave a comment like that.
I will always remember it. It's those little things. It's like, what do they say? That we always remember to say the negative things. When we're unhappy about something, we always, fill out that survey, etc. But for you to take just a minute to say that, it's awesome.
People don't. Also, I think there's a misnomer. We talked about LinkedIn and building your brand on LinkedIn, right? Because people are going to check you out there. And 90% of people on LinkedIn just consume. They consume. They consume. They consume. They take. They take. They take. They scroll, right? 9% of people actually engage and leave a comment, like Tessa, like Mike Quigley, like Farrell Elliott, like Brian Rivers, right? And those people are joining the conversation. And then 1% of people actually make posts and actually create content, right? And then that's the ecosystem. So it's about moving from the 90% of silent lurkers into the 9% that are now making us feel incredible because we're putting ourselves out here. This is awkward. We're feeling a little, on the spot right now. And then Tessa comes to the rescue with a love you. And we're like, oh, dang, it's working, and then so moving from the 90 to the 9 to the 1% and getting the courage to say, you know what, I have a voice and I'm relevant. I have something to say out there, because I think it's important you have that well-built, well-rounded brand out there.
But I think the other thing, that Ben said that really resonated with me during our session was so many people. What was the statistic? Most people only post something or repost something their company posted every 9 months. Again, if you really want, the first thing you said that a recruiter, a hiring manager is going to do, they're going to Google you. They're going to look you up. They're going to come across your LinkedIn page. And again, if they don't see anything there's no activity, you just have really basic information. Again, you haven't really done a great job.
Do you want to be basic? Because that's what it looks like, right? You're not giving me much. Me personally, as an employer, as a CEO, I'm looking for high energy people. I'm looking for smart, fun, kind, high energy people. So are your posts saying that? Is your LinkedIn picture, we didn't even talk about LinkedIn picture, but is your headshot saying that, or are you taking a picture of yourself in a car or a bathroom or using a wedding photo?
No, that's a question that I have for you, Ben. So my question is, how important is the headshot? How important? Because sometimes people don't even have a headshot.
This is another controversial thing, Brenda, because there's a thing called there's a bias, right? Is it presentation bias? Appearance bias. I was researching this, and it's not. I mean, listen, biases happen. It's human. We all live with bias, right? And the way that you present yourself, I mean, it's the whole get dressed up for the job interview, except distilled down to an inch avatar, right? So it's like so anyway, so it's important to have a headshot. It matters so much because just like we consume content on the internet, we consume people the same way. We scroll.
100%.
And we're looking for that smile that jumps off the page, or that we're looking for that.
It's part of your branding.
Yes.
It's part of your branding.
It's the cover of your book.
I'm sorry. I'm looking at this right here. What kind of shoes was I wearing today?
I loved your shoes today. Your shoes were a 10 out of 10. They were taxi themed shoes.
Taxi cab.
Do you have these shoes?
You know what? I'm not going to lie. I put on, because when I'm done with this, I am running to the airport. So I have on my running shoes basically, but I had on my Kate Spade taxi cab shoes. Some of you have seen them. And let me tell you, in the mobility world, I think it kind of resonated.
You're known for your shoes, though.
It resonated though too, because it was like somebody came up to me and said, "Can I take your taxi cab shoes for a ride to the airport later?"
Well, it's funny because when I got here, Ryan Clevenger greeted me with a big taxi hat on that would have went in your shoes. But I like how you coordinate it with the mustard, the gorgeous jacket, right?
This guy here
You
has
do
been
it
the
such a
sharpest dresser in the industry
No.
since I met him. I don't
Got to
even know
do
how many
something with
years
all this,
ago.
you know. Just,
I'm telling you, always on point, always got the suit, never misses the pocket.
well, you know,
right?
but that's
Rebecca is over here saying, yeah.
But this is the thing too, right? So like I'm a large guy, right? And that is what that is. But you got to dress it up a little bit, you know?
Your presence, you own a room when you come in. Again, you are absolutely, your stature, everything about you, you command the space when you walk in. So you can
take up most of it. So, I mean, whatever you want to say,
enough,
you know?
Enough.
But, well, Richard's going on to say, surely not one presentation fits all. And also it will differ across regions and countries. Yeah, maybe. I guess. Like, yeah, there's cultural differences and things like that. You know, is a smile not appropriate in a certain country? I don't know. I like to see kindness and I like to see energy.
It's interesting that you would say this, Richard, because we had a woman who was originally from South Africa. She currently lives in St. Louis today during one of our sessions. And we were talking about how to network and how do you do that? Especially for people that have to be extroverted, but maybe that's not their natural go-to, like they're an extroverted introvert is what I'm trying to say. And what she said was in Africa that if you were to shake someone's hand with a firm handshake, you would grossly offend them.
Wow.
And so
how do they do it? Do they do the gentles like the
what
fish?
She said it is kind of like the limp. What she called the limp fish.
The
I think it was
wet dead fish.
But then you bring in your other hand and you okay, here, can we do this?
Yes.
All right. So you go like this.
Oh God, it's so weird. I don't know. It's so weird to have like the and then you grab the wrist that way.
And then you grab the wrist, and that is the ultimate sign of respect.
Okay.
Who would have ever thought that just like really loose handshake?
I know that's like the opposite. That would grossly offend me. You know, I'm still reeling from the offense that I've been handed just now. No, I get, and then there's the male, female, and other cultures, right? It's inappropriate to touch a person of another gender. So I mean, there's some of that, but I mean, from a LinkedIn headshot standpoint, it's got to be clean, crisp, neutral background or something tasteful. Just don't do it in your car. Don't do it in the bathroom. Don't use the tux from the wedding shot, you know, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, come on, don't like have one with your bestie and then you crop them out. You know what I'm saying? Those are my favorite. Come on, we're adults here at this point. We're adults. We all possess these smartphones with like 3 lenses on them. We can figure it out. So just take a moment, have someone else take it for you. We got people checking in here. Get in the comments. I want to hear what you think here. I do too. Mike Quigley says networking is essential to growth. Farrell Elliott says, after 17 years out of the industry, I got my role because of connections I made back in the day. No online app needed. All right, I'm going to put you on the spot, BTJ. How'd you get your job? You don't have to give me too many details, but was it applying or was it you knew somebody?
100%. Morgan Snap. Many of you know her. She is Morgan. My colleague, handles business development on the West Coast. I knew Morgan from my days when I was in temp living. 100% would not be here today if she had not referred and put my name forward for this position. Was the job posted? I don't think when I first heard about it, it was. So I had a little bit of the inside track. I did. And I had those conversations early. So I was really lucky. You're right. I had an edge. By the time it's posted, it's kind of too late. They say this in government contracting. By the time the contract's written and posted on the Fed Biz Ops or whatever it's on now, it's too late. You know, by the time the RFP comes out, if you weren't included, you're not in. If you hadn't developed that relationship before that, forget it. Exactly. Yep. So it's the same thing with jobs. You know, we got to be working on these things, even when we're not necessarily working on. Monica, hit that like button, get in the comments here. Got some really great conversation. You are really good at this, by the way. Oh, please. We might be looking for a new host here. I was going to say, take this thing in a different direction. I'm going to flip it on him because I got to do that today. I got to be the moderator. You were good. Put him in the hot seat. But I want to ask you, what was your aha moment from the Midwest Relocation Conference? What, like, something that you heard, one takeaway? They say when you come to these things, if you can walk away with even 2 little tidbits, 2 takeaways, it was worth it. The ROI was there. So give me one. There's a bunch of things, and
You know what I did this time that was different? I approached this conference differently than I usually do. I'll be honest. I usually go to these conferences and I don't attend the sessions. And I've fallen into this trap of I know everything, I know everybody, it's same old, and I'm gonna be at the bar or something like that, right? Some variation of this, right? Well, business is done at the bar. These are the lies that we tell ourselves because we're lazy. So this time I said, you know what? I paid for this damn conference, okay, with my own money, all right, because I'm the business owner, right? It's all my money. And I'm going to go to this and I'm actually going to challenge myself to have a day one philosophy, a day one mentality. Because back in the day, when I first got into this industry, I started going to these conferences. One of the things I did early on was I would like kind of like tweet. I would like post a photo of the keynote speaker with my thoughts because I was so moved by the keynote. And that was one of the things I did. I used to send them, you know what's funny? I used to send them back to my boss in the senior management team at the company I was at. And they told me to stop doing it because, like, who am I and what am I trying to say by
you were proving you were there.
Yeah, and I know I'm like actually awake at an 8 o'clock meeting, guys. That's half of it. And like, what are you trying to say about this motivational thing about leadership? Trying to say we don't have leadership already? And I'm like, okay, you guys don't get it. So that's when I turned my direction towards LinkedIn, and I said I need to find my people outside of my organization because I wasn't finding my tribe inside my organization.
There you go.
So I started posting on LinkedIn, and y'all came out and y'all gave me love and commented and engaged and liked it and whatever. And I was like, oh wow, okay, so now I'm inspired myself, and now I can inspire people. I can bring the conference to the cubicle, right? And so I said, I'm going to do that. I'm going to go back. So I posted every day, every session I was in yesterday, I'd made a post about it.
Wow.
And I said, here's what I think about this. And sometimes I agreed with what was said. Sometimes I didn't agree. Sometimes I had more questions. Sometimes I was really inspired. And I made a post about every session I went to yesterday and what I thought about it. And I don't know if anybody clicked on it or read it or not. Honestly, I don't care. I post thinking that nobody's actually going to read it, because if I thought people were going to read it, then I would get too nervous.
You'd edit it a little bit more.
As they say, dance like nobody's watching, sing like nobody's listening, right? Post like nobody's reading.
But, you know, the thing that I've always admired about you, Ben, is that you're not afraid to be that voice. You and Jack Jampel really inspire me. Where is Jack Jampel? Somebody needs to ping him.
Somebody tag Jack.
Yeah, somebody tag Jack and get him on here. But you're not afraid to say things that, quite honestly, you know, many people are thinking. But they're afraid to say it, and it's not always. It's not that it's inappropriate. It's just people are afraid to sometimes say certain things. You've always been honest. You've always been genuine. You've always been who you are, which I think is why you have such a great following. Which is why people continue to come back, because they know they're not going to get this staged, broadcast. It's going to be real. It's going to be what it is, and we're going to hear some things that maybe we don't want to hear.
But and that's fine. But let's get thinking and let's get talking about it, right? Let's not just gloss over the details. And I think that it came from like years of going to, an ERC, whatever, or and you get these people on panels and they kind of like give you a bunch of like cliches and they just like agree with each other. And then by the end, all you know is like where they work. And you're like, what did I just sit through?
Exactly.
I want to get deeper.
Right.
I want to see some numbers. That's why when I talk about salary, I talk about salaries.
I loved it. That was a great thing. Ben gave a great example today about where he started.
Yeah, I started $11 an hour in a call center, making $4 for every POTS container I rented.
And then fast forward, 10 years later?
Yeah,
you were at?
I was like I started at 175. I landed at 190 before I left.
We got another guest.
We got another guest. Oh my gosh, it's Jennifer Rodriguez, the president, Madam President of CRC. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I cannot wait to sleep in my own bed tonight, though.
And
Nice.
I just want to say, between this woman, Sarah Ritter, Christina Swank, Liz Martin, unbelievable event. I mean, truly, it takes a village, and they organized the village. They fed the village. They did it all.
It does take a village for any of these events, truly. And I think we did a good job. Ben, this is the first time you've been back in how long?
The last MRC I was at was in Chicago.
So what'd you think?
I almost want to say I was impressed, but that would be to say that like my expectations were not as high. I thought it was excellent. I thought honestly, St. Louis showed really well.
They sure did.
I think everybody showed out here. 220 people, super well attended. I mean, that's a very strong attendance.
We had a great corporate presence.
Yeah, 34 corporate attendees, pulling people from Ohio, pulling people up from Texas, down from obviously Wisconsin. I mean, really it drew really well. People from Cali were here.
Well, I refer to this conference as the BAM of the Midwest.
Yeah.
You know, we hear about BAM all the time. I'm telling you, if you have been to BAM and you want a BAM-like experience in the Midwest, you need to attend Midwest and Great Lakes, which is coming up in September.
Yeah, where's Great Lakes being hosted?
Pittsburgh.
Okay.
Yep, I will see you guys come to MRC next year in Wisconsin.
Yeah, that's gonna be good. In Milwaukee. Awesome. Sounds good. Oh, we got some cashing out.
I didn't put a quarter into a slot machine.
You didn't gamble at all?
Makes me real nervous.
I feel like you're gambling right now with your departure time. Amy, shout out to Amy. Shout out to Richard. Travis says every job I have had in the past 20 years was due to a connection that spoke highly of me and recommended me. Now, what people don't know is 3 of those connections were me getting Travis that job. So, Travis, you're welcome. I love you, buddy. But you know, that's the thing though. When you put your name on somebody, they actually make you look good too. Monica says, you don't like my big purple frames in my picture? No, I love your purple frames. Nan is saying, we constantly switching red text on our presentations based on the culture we are presenting to. Some view it as good fortune and some view it as absolutely not. Great point.
Interesting.
So like maybe in Asian cultures, red is good luck. And here it's like text you're supposed to remove or losses, you know, that you're taking.
Which brings up another really important point. I was just attending the corporate roundtable debrief, and they gave us all some insights into what they talked about, because, you know, we're not allowed at those.
Yeah, the closed door.
Closed door. And one of the things that they said, it was Rebecca with Bungie and Katie with Emerson, and they were talking about that as a group, all the corporates really agreed upon that cultural training is so underutilized, and it's the first thing to be cut when organizations are looking to slim down their benefits package, make those policies more streamlined. Yet, as we're seeing here, down to the handshake, what your PowerPoint presentation looks like in terms of what color font are you using. It's incredibly important. But you know, the hard thing about it is, how do you measure that? I know this is always the problem, is how do you measure the return on the investment from that culture? Well, I think a huge part of it is, did the individual make it through the whole assignment?
Right.
That's part of it.
Was it a successful assignment? Did it fail? Yeah, I think you're right. So cultural, I'd put into like those kind of like soft skills and soft benefits versus like hard benefits of I'm moving household goods or I'm doing immigration or whatever. And I think it's easy to dismiss. I think we undervalue and devalue soft skills in general right now. I mean, if somebody says they got an English degree, I got an English degree, right? People are like, what are you going to do with that? Well, I'm a communicator. I write $1 million emails. That's what I tell people.
There you go.
You know what I'm saying?
Who doesn't read his emails?
Yeah, I don't read them. I write them. I'm not a lit major. I'm an English major. That's the difference. Okay, I don't read. I write. Okay, I talk. I don't listen.
But I thought that was interesting too. I keep circling back to this because he had so many great tips. One of the things that he said was, stop doing the things that you don't like to do.
Yeah, don't be good at stuff you don't like to do. Because we do this all the time because we think we're people pleasers and we think we have to do it. And if our boss, tells us to do it, or if somebody else finds out we didn't do it, then we're bad people and they're going to talk about us at the water cooler and blah, blah, blah. And the truth is, I don't think you really harm your career by not doing those things. I think you help your career by freeing up time for higher value activities, and those crappy activities will fall by the wayside. The converse of that is, if you're good at things that you don't like doing, guess what? Nobody else likes doing them either. And they're just going to pile up on your desk because you're the one that's going to do them. And then you kind of become a punching bag in the organization. And guess what? You think you're doing it to make people happy. Nobody even respects you. Because they're giving you the crap work.
That's it. There's certain things I'm not doing anymore.
Just don't do it. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it.
But he said that he doesn't love to read all his emails. He's got about 45,000 unread emails.
Last time I checked, who reads email?
Which I do know, because I was trying to get a hold of him about a few things about this conference and didn't. But he said, this is what resonated with me. You said, people who know me know that about me, and they will, if it's important enough for them to get in contact with me, they will find a way to do it, which is true.
Yeah.
I found a way to get
you'll text me, you'll call me, whatever, and Brenda, you're busy too. I'll text you sometimes, and I get text back. I don't take it personal. I'll just call her, or I'll just wait. And look, and we still pulled it off, right? We pulled off the session. Hopefully it wasn't my conduct was not too disrespectful, but I mean, yeah, that's my communication style, and it finds me, it'll find, the message will get through.
It was awesome. And no, he did a great job. It was a great panel. So it was a great conference. Like I said, I was really impressed. We talked a lot about personal growth, how to find your Z. We had a great,
tell people.
Candace. And well, you know what? After the fact, I think the producer can put the name of the book in the comment section. But it was all about, where are you at in your career journey, in your life journey, your personal journey?
From A to Z, what letter are you at? And she had us all write a letter.
What letter were you at?
I was going to ask you first. Okay. I was at O.
I was at P.
You're a P. Okay.
So Z is basically like, you've got it all figured out. Life is, you've done it all. You're there. You've conquered life.
This was so funny because she gives this example of, she was doing this training, and one kid who's like 22 years old, like, I'm at Z, and she's like, how are you at Z, Angelo, at 22 years old? And he's like, I got this great apartment downtown. I'm making more money than I've ever made. I live with my 3 best friends. I got a smoking hot girlfriend. We go out every night. We're living the time of our lives. And we're like, you know what, man, it sounds like you got it all figured out, buddy. But she made a good point. But if you stayed there in 20 years, that was your life still, would you be at Z?
That's what she said. She said at 36, if you're still is the girlfriend still smoking?
Is she still smoking hot?
Are you still making the same amount of money?
And I thought about it, and you know what my takeaway from that was? Maybe it doesn't go A to Z. Maybe it goes Z to A. Maybe life goes Z to A.
For some people, maybe that is the case. Hopefully not for most people, but again, really great personal development, because we all fill out these surveys after we attend these conferences, and the number one thing that is said time and time again is there needs to be a personal growth component to every conference. So while we had some great industry sessions, we talked about sustainability, we talked about diversity. The old conversation about NAR came up, and everybody's got an opinion on that.
Yeah.
Nobody knows what's going to happen, but everybody sure likes to speculate.
We don't know what's going to happen. We know we're screwed. We don't know how.
We have all the answers, Ben. Should we share all the answers? We're kidding.
I'm a buyer right now in the market, and I'm wondering, if I had to pay a buyer's commission, can I finance that? I don't think so, but can I?
Right. Again,
can I roll that in? Can I roll?
Right. Again, these are all such important questions. And I mean, again, we're not going to get into this, but it really will affect a lot of things down to the policy level.
Keep these questions coming. Hit that like button. Get involved. Love the questions. Try to get to most of them. Richard Majewski says, talking comms, communications. What do you think about WhatsApp in business? First of all, do you use WhatsApp?
I do. We actually use it internally when we're facilitating presentations. Don't want to make the mistake if we're on a Teams call and I'm trying to tell somebody they need to wrap it up. They're going too long. I don't want to inadvertently put that in the wrong chat.
Yes.
So we use WhatsApp a lot. In fact, I use it both personally and professionally. I love it. I think it's great. It's a free option that is underutilized.
And it's global.
Yeah, exactly. So I think it's great.
And there's a lot of utilities that have rolled out on WhatsApp lately that I don't even know about the functionality of it. We have a global team, so we do use it. I was introduced to it when I started consulting with a client of mine that was based in the UK about 3 or 4 years ago. So that's how I got introduced to it. But I think the bigger question is, what do you think about texting in a business setting? Do you text your business colleagues / clients /
Yes, I do. I think,
is it appropriate?
It's actually really interesting that you say this, because when everybody went, we were forced to go back, home to the office in 2020, and I had some people's mobile numbers, some contacts. I was really, really hesitant to call, to text. That was their personal. But now 4 years later, it's kind of the norm. And I finally got over it. And I said, you know what? I've got to be able to reach these people. Many people don't even have a work line anymore. You look in their signature line. So again, I do. Now, I don't abuse it. That's one thing I will say is I'm very mindful about what I'm doing and how I'm communicating. But yeah, to me, all forms of communication are not
are on the table.
They're on the table. And here's the other thing. You said something about picking up the phone. Somebody said something about picking up the phone. Why do we not pick up the phone more often? There are times where we can just get everything done and accomplished by picking up the telephone
and skip a lot of the misreading of the email cues and the tone of the message. But I'm gonna touch on texting real quick because I'm very text first because I'm anti-email, especially. And the faster I can get someone to a text basis, I feel like our relationship took another step in a way. And now we're on a texting basis.
That's true.
So I text with CEOs and presidents of like all these like companies that I am privileged enough to work with. And I'm shooting them GIFs and I'm shooting them funny things and pictures of my kids. And like,
I love it.
I'm a bit of an oversharer. If anybody didn't know that, Leo Capitordo, shout out to you.
Again, he's genuine. I think that's
put
the
it out
difference
there.
is you are who you are. You're not spam sending things to these individuals, but yeah, if it's
Hopefully not.
relevant and you feel like it would pertain to, or they would enjoy seeing it, then you reach out. I think that's good. I think that's natural, the natural evolution of some of these relationships. You know, we've been talking a lot today as we've been at this conference that our industry, we really are very, very tight knit. We are truly, in a lot of ways, you hear people say my Relo family, my Relo family. It's not just something that we say, it's really a thing. Yeah. And so again, why then would we not text or pick up the phone or send a picture?
Yeah, well, and I think yes, and emails get buried and stuff, and texting is just it's a lot more personal. Non-part from USI Law. Shout out to USI Law. Awesome texting topic. WhatsApp and WeChat is the go-to business engagement model in Asia. Line for Japan. Love this. Yeah, this stuff I don't even know. Part of the Middle East and parts of Africa.
There you go. So again, it's really interesting. I actually thought WhatsApp was still the big thing, but there you go. Love it. Love it.
This is great. Monica Santa actually worked on development of soft skills training for my team. And she's saying cross-cultural training is crucial to success in the long run.
100%. So, I think my biggest takeaway from, this conference, if I had to say one thing that just resonated, again, we talked about this a little bit earlier, but again, just that continued connection. And that, again, we've got this people that have hopped on to hear about it, that wanted to learn more about the content. And so if you are interested in any of the topics that we talked about, reach out to Ben or I. We'd be happy to share some of the slide decks that were presented because we understand travel right now is difficult. Not everybody's got a big travel budget. So happy to share that information.
Yeah. It's funny because in COVID is kind of what made Love and Relocation like such a big deal. And then now that we're kind of post COVID, I wonder, I'm like, is this as relevant? Does this make sense? Do I need to keep investing as much time in doing this? And then I was just talking to somebody, I won't say who, and they're like, yeah, our company just put a travel ban in place. It's probably going to run through the end of the year. Who knows how long? And so this stuff kind of in a way becomes more relevant again.
100%. And again, I heard that too, individuals that said this is their last trip and it's only April. So again, keep doing, and I think keep sharing information. So maybe we can come up with some way that, these takeaways from conferences that people weren't able to attend, that we can share that information.
I think it would be fun. I mean, I like to do the LinkedIn posts. I think more people should do that stuff. I love doing this, and you are really good at this, by the way, Brenda.
Okay, I think he says this to all of his guests.
No, some of them, no, they know. No, you're really good at this. Have you ever considered a career in broadcasting?
Actually, no, I have not, but thank you very much. He's being very complimentary.
I'm trying to get rid of my side job right now. That's what I'm trying to do.
He's like, how can I figure out how
Brenda.
to get this woman to say, yes, I'll do this for you.
I will host Love and Relocation. I'll be the new host.
Things going
I got some things cooking. I can't do everything anymore.
Well, so that, speaking of, I've kind of been wondering what you've got cooking these days, because you're busy. There's always some new thing going on. So can you share one little tidbit, a little nugget of something that's coming?
The thing that I've been really focusing on lately, because we do consulting, right? And consulting can mean anything, and it's meant growth and business development consulting for women-owned and minority-owned service provider companies in the global mobility space. Okay, that's how we started. Recruiting has been enormous. We've placed about 100 different professionals in the global mobility arena. A lot of them were in this room here today and are watching or whatever. Love that work. Love the fact that we're able to create a win for the candidate, a win for the client, and a win for ourselves. I mean, it's a really beautiful thing. And now I've been really focused on mergers and acquisitions advisement. So as you know, there's a lot of M&A activity that's gone on that I think we're all convinced will continue to go on as, our industry does contract, right? The need for domestic relocation is contracting. There's margin compression going on, and really the only solution or outcome I can see is there's going to be more consolidation. Now, we've seen a little bit of a pause in consolidation for two reasons, I believe. One is that the cost of money is higher than we'd like it to be, right? And in order to buy a company, you typically borrow someone else's money, right? That's how you get rich, OPM, other people's money. And the second is that in order to sell a company, you have to value it. In order to value the company, you look at the last 3 years and you weight the most recent year heaviest, right? And then you do a multiple off the EBITDA of those years. And if everybody's EBITDA last year was zero or low or depressed, now that valuation is going to be very low or depressed, right? So people are now waiting until they kind of get that boost back. And then I think you're going to see a lot of M&A activity probably in 25.
Wow.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. If 24 can be a decent bounce back year for us.
I'm going to have to run to the airport quick, but I want to leave you with this one thought. And I say this all the time. People that know me know that I'm known as the cheerleader on my team at Cardis, and I'm really positive. And yes, there's going to be some consolidation. I agree 100%. However, I am going on the record today to say that our industry will always be relevant. And that is because humans inherently want to have new experiences. They want to travel.
Yes.
They want to live in different locations.
More so than now than ever.
This generation that's
Travel
up and coming,
experiences.
Exactly.
Yes.
So it's going to look different. And as we're moving up, we're actually, Ben and I used to be the young ones.
Yeah, we used to be the YP40s, like, hey, you old
we're maturing.
guys.
We're maturing a little bit here. But I think what's interesting is it's going to take all of us working together to reimagine what our role is to ensure that developmental programs can continue to happen, that companies that really value their executive leadership team having that global experience doesn't go away. We're just going to have to be more creative. It's going to change, but it's not going anywhere. So that's my takeaway.
Yes, there is a lot of demand for mobility globally, and it's a lot of factors, right? There's political factors that are making people move around the world, right? There's economic factors and shifts, right? And you see, the importance of South America and Africa just booming right now. So there's a lot of that going on. So there's a lot of climate, right? There's going to be parts of our country, of our world that are not really inhabitable due to climate issues. So there's going to be things like that are changing. Dr. Parag Khanna, who spoke at Love and Relo 500 last year, he talks about this. So there are a lot of macroeconomic factors that are spurring people to migrate around the globe. The challenge for us is going to be, is that corporate sponsored or is it self-directed? And if it's self-directed in the consumer market, how do we wrap our arms around it as a managed relocation industry?
It's both.
And we need to be nimble,
Absolutely.
But the areas for growth that I see right now, I don't know, you got to get going. But the areas for growth that I see right now are threefold. One is immigration. I think it's going to be huge. You can't enter a country without it. Tax, I think, is important from a compliance standpoint. Compliance things are non-starters for corporations, and they will have to pay for that, and they will have to fund that. And the third thing is business travel compliance. Permanent assignments, I think, are going to be less, but there's going to be more travel. So there's gonna be short-term stuff cooking.
Absolutely. And that's a whole nother topic that I'd love to talk to you about because, you know, when the pandemic happened, you know, you had a lot of companies that said, my organization has a lot of appetite for risk.
Yeah.
Again, millions of dollars worth of risk, but this is a conversation for another day.
Brenda's got to catch a flight. This has been amazing. Hit that like button one more time. Get in the comments. Let us know what you think about the future of global mobility. Where's the puck going? And I can't wait to see you all at the next MRC conference or wherever we meet up.
Thank you for having me on the show. This was fun.
Yeah, this was a lot of fun. Take care, everybody, and we will catch you next week. Love y'all.
Bye.